explain a couple building blocks that I usually use for my workouts. The one thing, if somebody asks me about how to work out, my first question will always be what are your goals, right? If you're not clear on your goals, it's usually a waste of time. And again, this is written for track day riders or motorcycle riders in general. And again, your goal is to perform, to be physically so fit that you're not the bottleneck while you're riding. Secondly, you need a good exercise program, and this will be the bulk of this video anyway. Thirdly, you need to eat decently. Diet. There's lots of information out about diet. For many people, I know many people who exercise pretty well, but diet is usually the stumbling block. But again, it's as important as all the other things. So, and then again, you need to have knowledge of a couple of fundamental concepts and tools, and I will explain them. I think the minimum somebody needs to know. And again, all this leads, to rider fitness. And again, I think you will enjoy it much more, and you won't feel you are the bottleneck, while riding, and you get tired mid-afternoon. All those are great benefits. You will be quicker, you will be safer, and you will more enjoy it. The one concept which is behind, why working out functions is the concept of overcompensation, right? We're riding motorcycles, and the engine, as you use it, right, you need to do maintenance and service. Our body is a little bit different, right? As we use our body and our mind as well, actually, and put stress on it, it gets better, not worse. And this is the way this works, right? Picture, that the current horizontal line here is the current performance level, your endurance, as much, what you weigh, what you can lift. This is your current performance level. And then picture you're working out, right? So what you do is, you start your workout, and as you do it, you get tired, right? So if you have worked out 45 minutes, an hour or longer, right, at the end of the workout, you're whipped, right? So you're tired. So, but here's what's happening, right? First, your body tries to go back to the level where it was before you started your workout, and that's also the reason why it's so important. Your diet is so important, right? Because in this phase, it's very important that you eat healthy, you eat something rich on energy and protein, because this helps your body to go back to the original level. But then it does more than this, right? Because it thinks, okay, this might happen again. I might, have to run those 5 miles again, or I might have to bench press as much again. I better prepare for the next time, and I overcompensate a little bit, right? So after a certain time frame, your performance level actually raises, right? You worked out, you refilled, the energy you lost, and then you're at a higher performance level right here. So, and then what you do is, right, ideally at this point, you repeat it, you launch the next workout, and the same cycle starts again. But what's happening is, right, as you can see in this graph, you started here, you brought yourself up here. With the next workout, you bring yourself up there, and so on and so forth, right? It's not as linear, obviously, as this graph might show you, but conceptually, that's exactly what's happening. And then again, if I go back to my old bodybuilding pictures, right, I started here, and at the peak of my performance, I was like 240 pounds, in shape. And then again, it followed the same pattern, right? It's just an example. It doesn't matter if it's endurance, it doesn't matter if it's strength, it doesn't matter if it's flexibility or building muscle mass. It follows the same core principle. There are some important lessons which I want to emphasize based on this graph we just went through, right? Number one, you have to exercise on a regular basis, right? If you do nothing else, make sure you work out, and no matter whatever works for you, play tennis 3 times a week, run 3 times a week. In my case, it's working out, because I did this for so many years in a gym. But make sure you work out at least 3 times a week. If you don't do this, and remember this graph, right? If you don't set the next workout, when you're at the peak from the last workout, you stay on this line, right? Your performance level never improves. So working out regular is extremely important. Secondly, of course, intensity, right? You need to put effort in it, right? If you just do the same thing and not push yourself, the same thing happens, right? This never happens, the exhaustion never happens, the overcompensation never happens. You just stay flat, where you are, where you started. And finally, right, diet and rest, because when you look at this graph, right, you get better actually when you're not working out, so in between the workouts. So it's extremely, your diet and getting enough rest, getting enough sleep is as important as working out. So now let's start with the actual workout routines. First, I wanna say something about the workout structure. Well, what's the right order of things? And I see many people in the gym who confuse this, and I will explain real quick why I do it the way I do it. When you look on the left, right, every workout I do, no matter if it's in the gym or somewhere else, follows the same structure. I warm up, which means maybe light cardio, jumping jacks, light stretching, right? Then comes strength, or if you do coordination, sprint stuff, wherever you need quick energy and everything. Strength always comes first. And this has to do with the energy supply, right? Because we only have quickly available energy in our muscles for 20 to 40 minutes. This is predominantly, glycogen, which is sugar, right? After 20 to 40 minutes, our body needs to shift more and more to its fat reserves, which are much harder to burn, which are much harder to be done to be transferred in energy. And that's the reason strength, high intensity stuff always comes first. Then comes cardio, right? Because cardio is lower intensity, and you can use your fat reserves to do it. And I always end with stretching, right? In particular, riding a motorcycle, on-road, off-road, no matter what it is, the more flexible you are, the less likely you hurt yourself. In particular, in a worst-case scenario of a crash, it's always good to be as flexible as possible, right? And again, this table gives you a little bit an overview about how much time you should spend on each of those segments. You warm up real quick, 20 to 40 minutes on strength, cardio, right, 20 minutes and up, of course, and stretching another 10, 15 minutes. How many exercises, the repetitions and everything. And I will place this on the Track Expendables website. So even after this video, you can download files there and follow it. This is the typical track day prep routine I follow. And if you look here, right, it shows you the days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way to the weekend. And I typically on Mondays, right, I start with chest, abs, legs, and then cardio and stretching. And on the next day, in this case Tuesday, I do the complementary muscle groups, shoulders, back, biceps, triceps, and again it always ends with like cardio and stretching, right? Then Wednesdays, or the third day, I only do cardio. That's typically, I typically do this outdoors if at all possible. I love mountain biking because it's so close to what we do on the motorcycle. You have a very similar feel. You work the same muscle groups, or you can do street biking, or of course if it's winter, then of course do it indoors. And same thing. I usually prefer the bicycle because it's the closest to how we sit and how we maneuver on the motorcycle as well. And stretching. Then on Thursdays, Fridays, I repeat Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, same program, same breakdown. And Sunday is usually the only rest day when I'm on this program, right? I use different programs throughout the year, and that's a different, it might be a different video, or you can contact me and I can explain this, because I use different times of the year for different phases of working out. But that's typically what I do, 3 to 6 weeks, before a track day. That's my typical program. So now this shows, same like I explained before, it covers abs, chest and legs, but this shows the actual exercises, what I do, right? Crunches, dumbbell flies, leg raises, again for abs, incline bench press, leg curls, calf raises, seated leg extensions, donkey calf raises, leg presses. And I show a couple video segments, after this, so you can picture those exercises a little bit better. The exercises by itself don't really matter, right? You can replace crunches with every other ab exercise you want. And if you go on bodybuilding.com, for instance, or there are many other websites out there. You can pick. There are hundreds of different abs exercises out there, chest exercises out there, and so on and so forth. So this is one example. That's exactly my example. This is a typical program I would use, right? And as you see, this is program 1, right, which would be done on Mondays and Thursdays. And the second one on here is this one, which covers back, shoulders, and arms. And again, if you remember the concept from before, this would be Tuesdays and Fridays. Lat pull down, side lateral raises, like long pulley, right? This is a back exercise, another back exercise, and so on and so forth, right? And you see them, and again, I put them on trackexpendables.com. You can download those programs, and then you have them written down, including the documentation. You can put your weights and how many reps you did in there. One final point to the routines, and this might be one of the most important ones, which over the years I've seen distinguishes my workout routines from many others. There's a reason why on those programs I write combination 1, combination 2, combination 3, combination 4, and again I'm back here at this chest, legs, and abs workout, and I pull one of those out, and you will see it in the subsequent video sequence, right? Combination 1 consists of crunches and dumbbell flies. What I do is I make a set of crunches, get up from the bench, walk over, take my dumbbells, make it dumbbell flies, right? When I'm done with the set of dumbbell flies, I go back over to crunches. So what this creates is, I go back and forth, between those two exercises for at least 3 sets, sometimes 5 sets. Usually that's the maximum, right? But this creates the intensity, right? The minimum rest between those exercises, right? When I go through this program here, those 4 combinations, right? I barely rest, right? You breathe like a racehorse, right? And that's what you should do. You'd select weights that you can lift around 10 times, right? I make at least 3 sets, sometimes 5 sets, and you go through those combinations. That's one of the most important things in there. The other one, which again, there's lots of literature out there, you really need to do those exercises correct. Full range of motion, never sacrifice style for weights. And again, they're very good. Again, I think on bodybuilding.com there's an endless amount of exercise documents on there. Make sure when you read dumbbell flies here, you know how to do the exercise, and maybe you work with a personal trainer for a while just to get the hang of it. And let's look at this, how this looks in the gym, and how I do this, and I pick out this one combination in particular. what I do is, as I get closer to a track day or training in this case, I shift the emphasis more on an exercise which is closer to what we actually do on a racetrack, on a motorcycle, on a racetrack. And my choice is usually spending much more time on a mountain bike. So here we are. This is Chino Hill State Park. Yeah, it's a little bit cloudy today. The temperature is perfect. It will be a little bit of hassle, but we'll get up there.